What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Dolce Show. So happy you guys are here on this special edition. We have a huge announcement today where we are going to reveal the most powerful supplement on the planet, the supplement most responsible for building muscle, but also responsible for helping you lose dramatic amounts of body fat. And to do this, I have my good friend and founder of Metcon with me, also a triathlete, ultra endurance athlete, and fitness celebrity. So many things we're going to talk about. Mr. Dan Cox. Dan, what's up, brother?
Not much, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. You know, man, life is good. I get to hang out with you, chit chat, talk health, fitness, change people's lives. Life is good.
It's been fun. It's been fun connecting almost over the last year now, back again.
It's been a hard year. I mean, it's now that I look back, it's gone pretty quick.
Really fast.
Right. We were having this conversation in earnest a year ago, right around now. And here we are about to, set up the launch and share with everybody, tell everybody here, hold on, guys, we're going to tell you in a minute what we got going on. But it's been a long one. So it's been awesome getting to reconnect once again, longtime friends, but time and distance has taken us away from each other for a little bit. But now we're back, homie.
I love it. I love it, man.
Nice.
Thank you again for having me on with the crew. I think people are going to be really excited about what we came up with. I know, this is a passion of yours that you've wanted to dive back into and looking for a reason to, and I kind of the same way. So I'm very excited for this launch today.
Well, without further ado, Dan Cox and I would like to announce the launch of the Dolce Whey powered by Metcon supplements. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so happy to bring this to you, but this is not any old whey protein isolate. Dan and I are going to break down the proprietary formula that we are using, which is the industry leader. This is a market disruptor. There is no other protein out there like this, because I believe the integrity that Dan and I have and our commitment to you guys, to our community, and really, I think selfishly, Dan, what you and I would use for ourselves. And that was the origin story of this. We were both, in your way and my way, we were both tired of what was commercially available. We knew it was mostly garbage. You can speak to this better than I. So let's really break that down. The Dolce Whey on the market right now, grass-fed whey protein isolate, but the ingredients are what make this so special, truly the most powerful protein on the planet. Dan, can you kind of circle back here and talk a little bit about our ingredients versus what the industry standards are and why people out there want to use the Dolce Whey via Metcon?
For sure. So I'll even rewind it back further. So the reason we started Metcon in the first place is, as you know, I owned a number of nutrition stores across California and Nevada. We had very strict buying standards for the products we would carry. So only FDA approved manufacturers, only products that were GMP certified. And they had to be above board, and we really hand selected these manufacturers and these brands we worked with. We were the front line of defense for these brands that we were selling. And, the more questions that came our way asking details about the products we were carrying, the more we had to lean back on these brands to ask, okay, where are your raw materials coming from? Where is your product being produced? What is the process your whey is going through for extraction? And the majority of brands couldn't answer any of those questions. And really, it's kind of the state of the industry and the sports nutrition of building brand over building great products. And that's what really kind of disturbed me, and why I created Metcon was to develop a product line that I knew exactly where we were formulated, where the raw materials were coming from, and had a hand on every step of that process. And so, fast forward into now, we were one of the first all natural pre-workouts on the market. And you and I have talked about this. You don't need a pre-workout, but if you want something to get you into the gym and get you motivated and get some caffeine, why not have the cleanest version of that on the market? And that's really what kind of put us on the map. And you and I have talked about this for a while, but protein was always one of those products that it was such a commodity driven product that brands, in an effort to do something different and to have a point of differentiation, We're using fillers. We're going with flavors that were the same as cereal companies, doing all kinds of things opposed to actually providing the nutrient that you were looking for, which is one of the most amazing amino acid profiles and the most fastest absorbing nutrients you can consume. They were breaking away from that, and they were basically getting in their own way with these flavors, with these fillers, putting in fats, putting in sugars, and starches and gums to make them more kind of malty, and adulterating all these things with this product that at its core is so light and fluffy and really easy to consume, and it's so easily absorbed. You and I talked about this, and when we first started discussing doing a whey together, my biggest thing was I wasn't going to do something that was just going to be a me too on the market. We were going to do something that was going to be completely different, something that you and I would both take, that we could be proud of. And the way we did that was creating basically sourcing the best whey we could from a dairy out of Wisconsin, using basically the cleanest processing available to extract the whey isolate out of milk. So it doesn't contain anything that is associated with milk as far as lactose, sugar, fats, anything else that comes along with it. And then instead of using flavor profiles or natural flavors even, we used whole foods to flavor it. So, I posted today about this, but, this is the vanilla right now. And you'll see at the bottom of the vanilla, there's all these little black specks, and that's vanilla bean powder. It's organic vanilla bean powder, organic hand-dried vanilla bean from Indonesia. We're working directly with these farms to source these ingredients to make sure they're sustainably sourced. And we use whole vanilla bean to flavor a beautiful, just whey isolate protein, and added in a little bit of organic monk fruit, very lightly extracted, to give it the sweetness and make that vanilla pop. So it tastes like the most amazing milkshake you've ever had, but it's using whole foods to flavor it. There's no artificial sweeteners. There's no natural flavors. We're using whole vanilla bean. And then in the cacao, we're using organic cacao. So this is organic hand-dried cacao from Ecuador, again, sustainably farmed. And it's from an industry standard, it's literally we're off the reservation. Like, we are so far away from what the industry norm is, that's what makes me excited about what we're doing.
And I think that's such a great point, Dan. And that's one of the differentiators, is we are actually using real vanilla. We're actually using cacao. We're not using any of the synthetic flavor palettes that most of the big boys and girls out there do as they mass produce these, low quality, inferior health supplements. And that's what always drove me nuts. I would not allow my children to consume those products. I'm definitely not going to put it into my body, but I wanted whey protein isolate. I've been talking about whey isolate since, in the early 2000s, 2007, whey protein isolate is actually included in our 3 weeks to shredded program. And people they associate me with it. No pills, no powders, no potions, 100% absolutely. But there were very few. And in that very early time, I had access to a formulator who would actually make me my own out of Connecticut over here. That's whole nother story. He's a mad scientist. But the ability to get a high quality grass-fed whey protein isolate into the hands of the public at a price point that was not just reasonable, but a market price point. And this is where, again, and I know you and I both know a lot of the industry heads out there, they will sacrifice quality for margin. And that was the things when you and I sat down, we're like, let's create the best product, the healthiest product, the industry leader in this category now. And, to hell with margins. Let's make sure that we are able to provide this to the market, that the same thing that we would consume is what we want, our community to consume. So truly, we take the hit, the company takes the hit on that padding of the margin. And that's one of the things, again, and everyone here in my channel, so the organic audience, you guys know how I rail on and on and on about the greed that's out there and how, you can turn around. I can read the ingredients, any label, and I can tell if the company cares about the product, cares about the community, or they simply care about their financial bottom line. It's so easy for you and I to see that. And that's something anytime, anyone, if you turn around these products, let me see, are you on the screen yet? Let me throw this onto the screen. You turn around our products, you can see the actual ingredients right here. How simple is this? Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, so here's the cool thing, right? Is, you see grass-fed, whey isolate on there, right? You see the organic cacao, you see the organic monk fruit. We took it a step further because that's not just the only thing. We literally put full transparency of where we're getting these raw materials from and the extraction method. So if you scroll over one more slide on that sheet, we've published those, and you literally get to see exactly where each one of our raw materials is coming from, the extraction process that is being used, and how we're driven. So we're grabbing these nutrients from a couple different places around the world. Obviously, the dairy in Wisconsin, and then the flavors are coming from monk fruit is grown natively in China, and then our Indonesian vanilla bean, as well as our Ecuadorian cacao. So those are all coming together into Southern California, being blended up and produced. So protein in general, most proteins on the market, forget even showing, the actual ingredients, because a lot of proteins build in a margin of error. So when you think you're getting 26 grams of protein, typically you're getting 20. They build in a lot of fluff in the products. There's a lot of fillers being added to make a creamier tasting protein in a creamier mouthfeel, which is not needed because a very good whey isolate has its own creaminess to it. And so, we've not only removed all that and complete that wasn't even on the table for us, but we've gone a step further and actually put in exactly where these raw materials are coming from and the extraction methods, which I guarantee no one else in the industry has any idea, one, where their products are coming from, because a lot of times whey is a commodity. And if you can't get it from a source you've been getting it from, you get it from another source, because whey on a label is the same way. So we've committed to the community, to our consumer, that when you buy this product, you are getting the same product from the same source every single time. And this freaks the industry out because, again, it could cause supply issues. Like, we could have slight out of stocks during certain times. But that's the price we were willing to pay to deliver a consistent product, and a product that we can stand behind, and a product that you will continue to love and that won't change on you, just because, one supplier's out or there's an issue with supply somewhere.
Yep. And that's the reason why we do it. And let's briefly talk now about the cold processing of Dolce Whey as compared to the high heat processing, which is so common in the protein industry, and what that actually does to denature the protein itself, making it inferior. So you want to save a couple bucks on your protein, you get these high heat pasteurized, protein powders. You're not getting a fraction of what you assume you're getting, what you're paying for. And long term, you're actually getting less total amino acids simply as a result of, or less bioavailable amino acids simply as a result of the processing, which, again, why it was so important for us to have cross or cold processed whey isolate, which, again, is why this is the most powerful protein on the planet. And I'm going to keep saying it because that's the truth. So again, if you want to touch on the cold processing.
Yeah. So typical extraction, and this isn't just for whey, but typical extraction process is high heat. High heat means you can extract nutrients fast. It's fast, it's cheap, it's quick. And so that's why a lot of the industry uses it. Again, not just for whey, but across the board. What that does is, like Mike was saying, it denatures a lot of the nutrients that are in there. They come out basically not in the same form that are naturally occurring, because it's not like you're cooking something. This is extremely high heat to create extraction. So the cold filtration process is slow. It's a very slow extraction process of separating protein from fat in milk. And then it goes through another cold process and a cross flow, which basically separates any of the rest of the milk properties, which is mostly lactate, will come off of that, or the lactose will come off of that. and you are left with a pure source of protein. And again, one of the best amino acid profiles. And without that heating, without the high heat and fast processing, you're left with the amino acid profile intact. And so again, that creates for a higher absorption rate, that creates for a smoother product. It also is a more expensive product, which is why the majority of the industry doesn't do that. And so again, whey protein on the label is whey protein on the label unless it's being identified as a cold processed. And again, we're showing exactly where it's coming from out of Wisconsin as well.
And the difference between a whey protein isolate and a concentrate, that's another confusing point for many out there. They just buy whey protein. They buy the one that the kid at the supplement store tells them to. Usually they get a little BOGO, point on, for selling them the in-house brand. What is the difference for those out there? Why an isolate over a concentrate?
So a concentrate is it comes from the first extraction process of milk and fat, basically. So the fat is separated from the protein. That protein can then be hardened and concentrated, just like orange juice concentrate. You're basically squeezing out any of the liquid in it to create a more dense form. Again, it's not as bioavailable because you're taking a form of protein that really is in a concentrated bulk hard form. It doesn't digest well. It can create some gastro issues. It does have attributes of milk still attached to it. So people that are lactose intolerant will not be able to take a protein concentrate or a milk protein concentrate, both basically the same things. They will cause some stomach issues. They will cause some bloating. They will cause some gas. Because your body is having to break down this concentrated piece of protein that really wasn't meant to be consumed as is. When you then put it through another filtration process and extract all those elements out of it, you're left with a pure source of protein that an amino acid profile, the way it's made up is extremely, extremely efficient at being absorbed, especially into muscle tissue post-workout, but really at any point in the day. And it is, like Mike said, it is one of the most important supplements and kind of honestly one of the best absorbed and most studied on the market.
Yeah. And so now what we speak about here, what we teach is food first. You and I are Dan and I are so aligned with our philosophy and our approach to food, to health, to fitness, to everything. Food first, right? We want to get our food first. We want to establish that healthy diet. We want to be exercising. And then a whey protein isolate is the perfect addition to a healthy lifestyle. It is a great product like we wrote about in 3 Weeks to Shredded. Many of you out there are following our 3 Weeks to Shredded program. The whey protein isolate is the perfect low-calorie addition to a weight loss program, an extreme weight loss program, to get that protein and those amino acids in at the lowest possible caloric ceiling. That's what we teach. So we wipe away a lot of the extra calories you might be getting with an extra piece of salmon, an extra piece of steak. That's great, but you're already eating your salmon, you're already eating your steak. You want to maintain your muscle mass. You're getting ready for a mixed martial arts competition, a bodybuilding competition, all of that stuff. This is the perfect way, pardon the pun, to get those amino acids in your system in the most readily absorbable and efficiently digested manner. And that's another reason why I'm a strong advocate of a whey isolate, is because of the digestibility. A whey isolate, if I'm correct, digests within about 10 minutes, where those amino acids actually start being absorbed within 10 minutes of ingestion. There's no other protein, there's almost no other food product that has that type of absorption rate, which makes it great during that intra-workout, post-workout window, where you get that influx of amino acids into your bloodstream.
100%. And, it's something, we talked about too. A lot of people look at protein as kind of post-workout, and amount of nutrients to take in at any point of the day, anytime you need that extra amount of protein. So what I've been doing, and again, this is, you and I are on the same page about this, whatever fits in with your lifestyle. For me, honestly, after lunch, like I'm not full usually after my lunches. And what I'll end up doing about an hour or two after is I'll make a shake, and it literally is just enough to push me out through dinner. It's, again, we talk about this all the time, but from an efficiency standpoint, 20 grams of protein, and it's under 100 calories. So there, in how fast it's absorbed and how well your body can use it, it's just super efficient. And it is one of those things that, to incorporate it into a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet, you will start noticing results because of how protein dense and amino acid dense this product is for the amount of calories that it takes to consume it. And, again, comparing to other proteins on the market, you're looking at typically a 20 to a 26 gram is like the, kind of market range for protein. It'll typically be in a 35 to 40 gram scooper. So if you're buying a tub, doesn't matter if it's big or small, out of that 40 grams, only 20 to 26 grams of that is protein. That just shows you how much fillers, how much gums, how much flavoring is being used in each of these products. When you look at ours, you have 20 grams of protein of a cold pressed, microfiltered, premium grass-fed isolate whey, right? In a scoop that on the vanilla, because there's less to flavor with the vanilla bean, it's much more concentrated, is about 22 or 23 gram scooper, and the cacao is a 25 gram scooper. And that's it. The majority of what you're consuming is going to be this whey, and that's the reason we formulated this whey. Again, no pun intended, we use whey all day long. But it is just extremely efficient. And when you don't add all those other things to it, the binders, the gums, the flavoring, artificial or natural, when you start stripping all that stuff away and you're left with this pure nutrient dense drink, it's unbelievable, kind of the results you'll start seeing and how well your body does with it. It doesn't weigh you down. You literally consume it, you feel great. And I talked to Mike about this. I stopped taking whey because of all the junk that was on the market. I couldn't find anything that I felt really good consuming, whether that was because the artificial sweeteners, whether that was because of the natural flavoring that I just didn't like and, kind of get that metallic taste in the back of your throat, or the source of the protein. I just couldn't find one that was right. And so, when we were developing this, I was excited to start taking whey again, to be honest. And again, total anecdotal, but over the last couple months of really sampling the products, it's pretty crazy how much I've missed consuming whey and knowing now that, how clean this product is and knowing every aspect and every corner of it, and feeling good about consuming it. It just makes it that much better.
Yeah. It's hard to get all the nutrition that you need. And I know, when I get into an A-type training phase, as we say here, I'm really starting to push. My diet's dialed in. I'm focused on my training. I'm starting to manage the data. I'm measuring the metrics right. I want to see some gains. I'm trying to drop a few percent body fat. I'm trying to add a few pounds of lean, healthy, functional muscle tissue. It gets hard to eat more food, whether you're dieting, losing weight, or gaining weight. The number one complaint, criticism of 3 weeks to shred it is there's so much food here. That's what you and I get it, Dan.
Yep.
A lot of people don't get it, and I know people are laughing right now on the program. There's so much food here. How can I eat all this food and lose weight? And then a week later, holy shit, I lost 5 pounds. This is amazing. It's a challenge. It becomes challenging. Truly, it becomes challenging. So to have this option available, as you just said, to have this option available to be a part of your healthy lifestyle is why we came out with this. It's our companies do well. This is not a cash grab. Anyone who looks at the ingredients and looks at the price points understands this. This will be a successful product. Yes, that's fine. Dan and I, we already have very nice companies where we're living a good lifestyle. We're working our tails off. We didn't have to bring this product out. We brought this product out for our communities who, like you and I, were at a loss. We couldn't find a high quality, grass-fed, cross-flow, cold processed, microfiltered whey protein isolate to fuel us through our day when we do hit those alpha training phases, those A-type training phases, or just that safe supplement to have when we're on the go and we're in a rush, and we wanted to have that available. I'll bang back a whey isolate. This is written into our programs. I'll bang back a whey isolate. I'll throw a handful of blueberries or half a banana. Man, I'm good. I'm out the door. I know I'm fueled enough to get me through the next little 30, 60, 90 minutes or so of what I have to do. And the market, we look at all these, fitness products, these packets and these satchels where they have these, unfortunately, they prey on young women to live on these horrible toxic powders that don't provide any real nutrition. They taste great though, because of all the flavor palettes, all the synthetic toxic chemicals. They taste great, but they're made of horrible ingredients. So again, my motivation, and I don't want to speak for Dan totally here, was to make sure that you guys, that our community, that everyone watching, anyone who wanted access to the highest possible quality whey protein isolate can go to metcon.com and get the Dolce Whey Pro. Like, that is it. That is what it is. And that's really what we want. So everyone can start living their best life through proper nutrition and not have to worry. That's the one thing. It's like, I'm always reading ingredients. I'm like, fuck it. I can't get anything. I can't even take a product. And people have been asking me literally for years, Dolce, like, what protein do you recommend? I'm like, I really don't recommend any. God knows I wish I did. I wish I could. I really didn't have any I could truly get behind and recommend, which is why, again, Dan and I sit down and we're like, enough of the bullshit. Let's come up with a product that you and I can, if nothing else, Dan and I, we're going to consume the power.
We got enough to hold us over.
We got enough for a little while.
It's funny, man. I a lot of the things we're doing in the industry, I get looked at, and I talk to a lot of people in the industry, when we were starting to do this formulation, and the reason why, and I guess this doesn't seem like on the surface, this doesn't seem like revolutionary at all, right? 4 or 5 ingredients, like great, like good for you guys, like how to strip back. But when an industry is so commodity driven around fast, quick, cheap, it is hard to get people to believe in what you want to do. Mike's one of those people that believes. Our manufacturing team, they believe, and I jokingly say if I bring in these raw materials, so a lot of times I'll find some of these suppliers, for example, our vanilla bean and our regeneratively grown cacao, even this monk fruit. And the crazy thing about monk fruit, again, monk fruit there's a wide range of monk fruit on the market. If you have the majority of products, they'll use a highly extracted, again, chemically extracted, denatured monk fruit that will, act in your body differently than a monk fruit that is more intact to its natural form. So our monk fruit is only 25% extracted, a really low organic extraction method of basically water that is able to pull out the sweetness out of the monk fruit to be used. That in itself is 10 times more expensive than the industry standard. And, I joke when I come to my manufacturing team with some of these things, I say, let's try working with these, but I want to make sure I'm the only one that is using this. And they just laugh and they're like, you're going to be the only one using this. It's too expensive. Like no one else is going to touch this stuff. And so that when every time I hear that, I know we're doing something right. And it makes me feel good that we're bringing things that aren't available on the market. And flavoring a product with whole foods, again, sounds like it should just be the norm, but because natural and artificial sweeteners are as cheap as they come, you can pick any flavor you grew up eating, from a popsicle to a cereal to a cake you want, and you can flavor a protein with an artificial sweetener. And that's what the majority of industry does because it's fun and people like it and it brings you back to retro times. But again, it's no different than eating one of those bowls of cereal. And then you get into the natural flavors, which are better, and they are naturally derived. But again, they are altered to amplify that flavor, again, to cut costs. And so for us to use an expensive cacao that you would only find in health food stores in a bulk form, very, very expensive product in a glass jar on a shelf, we're using that to flavor a protein. Like it seems like it wouldn't be that crazy, but when you are in the industry, that is extremely, extremely crazy to do. But it makes sense. It makes sense to deliver. If whey is one of the most important, supplements in amino acid profiles that you can consume, doesn't it make sense to pair it with something that is, again, natural, that has natural amino acids, has natural polyphenols that you can get some benefit out of that actually makes it taste great? And that was our whole idea behind this was we're not gonna tiptoe with the industry. We're not gonna do what everyone else is doing. Let's take a completely different approach to bring a what was and what should be the most consumed, kind of supplement a healthy diet, and just make it good for you to take. Like, it's ironic that you're taking supplements to supplement a diet that are actually doing more damage than good, right? But that's become what the norm in the industry is.
And isn't that so funny that the health food market oftentimes does not provide healthy ingredients nor healthy products to bring about the health of the individual, right?
For sure. And I think intent is there, right? Intent to, well, if we think protein is good for you, let's try to make it taste as good as possible to get you to consume more, right? But I think we've gone so far down this path that we're beyond that, right? We're beyond like getting people into consume this type of product. Now we're just trying to push each other who has the craziest bubblegum, like unicorn flavors you can find, right? And so, yeah, I hope that this is a good. I hope that this, again, we obviously we want you to take this product, but maybe the industry follows. But I honestly doubt it. I really, really doubt it.
I hope that they do, but truly, I know that they won't because of margins. The majority, I will say, I can't speak for anyone because there are a few good actors out there.
100%.
But it's going to be hard for them to make a turn in their business. If they didn't start with this, it's going to be hard for them to have, quarter over quarter estimates and all of a sudden say, hey, you know what? Let's actually increase the cost of production and not raise the price here.
Well, it's also, well, why weren't you doing this from the beginning, right? It's consumer accountability. If a customer comes in and is like, well, if you could have been doing this the whole time, why weren't you? Well, because it was cheap, it was efficient. There's no supply chain issues. That's why, so it's none of those things have the customer in mind.
Yeah. And for everyone, go ahead, Dan, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that was it. I mean, again, the way, and again, this isn't an industry bashing session, but it's just what I think we're passionate about to bring, again, the best products we can forward. And to do that, it's just completely going against the industry norms.
Absolutely. And everyone watching, we appreciate you guys being here. Everyone, leave comments or questions. If you have a specific question for Dan and I, Dan, if you got a few minutes here, I want to share you with the audience because, you're such a brilliant mind. And Dan is an amazing athlete. He is a triathlete. He's an endurance athlete, one of the fittest humans on the planet. I know this.
How about that?
Very humble, great set of hair, perfect beard. I mean, you have any questions, grooming questions? Ask Dan. I'm not talking partially. Ask any questions here in the chat as we talk on this a little bit more. For those of you just jumping in, we are talking about the Dolce Whey launch right now via Metcon. You can go to metcon.com/Dolce to put in your first order. We literally just went live right now. Once we started the broadcast, Dan was sitting in, with the team. They were getting all the last little bells and whistles to go live. So everyone right here, you are the first. You are the first individuals to actually get the Dolce Whey, the organic vanilla, the organic cacao or chocolate flavor. Is it organic cacao? Do we call it?
It's cacao, right? So, but cacao is how you make chocolate. So a little science lesson. We have raw cacao, which is 100% cacao. When you see a bar that would typically taste like you're eating dirt, that is 100% cacao, no sugar added to it. And typically, most chocolate is going to be a dark chocolate starts at 70% cacao, but most like Hershey's, things like that, are in the 25 to 30% cacao range.
Yeah. And it's funny, in my house, I am the 73% or greater.
I got to get you there. There's an 88. There's two 88s on the market that are unbelievable. But yeah, the more percentage cacao, the more of those polyphenols, the more of the cacao you're getting and the benefits of that. And there's actually some good studies coming out. Again, this isn't a cacao product. We used it to flavor it. But there is a decent amount of cacao in there where you'll get some additional phytonutrients out of it.
And cacao's expensive. I just bought some cacao for the house. That's expensive. So you think about what you're actually getting per serving. Huge, I mean, huge value add here, not just the amazing cross flow, microfiltered, cold processed, grass fed whey isolate. You're getting some bomb ass cacao on top of that.
The other thing too, like I'm not joking. When we started developing this, like I didn't know how close to a milkshake taste or a industry standard, protein taste we were gonna get. I mean, I think we blew it out of the way. Like it tastes like an unbelievable dessert. So I know we haven't talked about flavor that much, but I mean, it's good. It's like scary good.
Yeah. The flavor, again, I'll use Brandy. Brandy is not a supplement person. She loves food and she likes candy, to be fair. Like, very normal. Brandy is not me, and people get that confused. She loves it. And she's a bit of a hater on the supplement because I've had her try so much stuff. She's like, no way. And she has a lactose intolerance, something that we should discuss. She is lactose intolerant. She can't even smell ice cream without feeling sick. She can drink this and has been drinking this since you sent me that very first order. She's been drinking this, absolutely zero problems. And for anyone interested, let's speak to that for a moment here. And I don't think, what is the exact claims that we can make here? But I see it in the real world. Brandy, I mean, she can't go near ice cream, even a taste, and it cripples her. She can drink this and has been drinking this every single day with zero issues.
So it is greater than 99.5% lactose free, which is, for all intents and purposes, lactose free. If you have any kind of dairy issues, anything, you will have no problems with this product. Again, anecdotal, but we have a close friend who's extremely prevalent in the fitness industry. Is a woman, can't have gluten, has a ton of food allergies, can't have dairy. The list goes on. I gave it to her. I said, try it. She was freaked out. She picked a day where she didn't have anything to do the rest of the day in case she was like curled over in her bed from like stomach pains or anything, because she hadn't had milk in 10 years. And she called me while she was taking it. She's like, this tastes unbelievable, but I'm going to keep you on the phone for 10 minutes because I'm going to know right away. And we stayed talking. She was just like, I'm in. This is crazy. I've been told my whole life I can't have any kind of milk products. But whey isolate, again, is basically lactose free. So there is no milk properties attached to the isolate. There is milk properties if you're taking a whey concentrate, a straight whey protein, if it's not identified, a milk concentrate, a casein protein. All those will contain amounts of lactose in them and other milk properties. And so if you are lactose intolerant, you shouldn't take any of those proteins. But whey isolate, and especially ours, because we've certified it that it is completely isolate, 100% isolate, you will not have any issues with if you have any dairy issues whatsoever. And here's the deal. If you do, we take everything back. If you don't like the product, just call us, shoot us an email. It's not a problem, but we can tell you that there is no issues with whey isolate. And you can look it up. You can do your own research too to confirm, but a true whey isolate has no lactose in it at all.
Absolutely. And of course, we created this for our community, and we stand by it 100%. So anyone has any issues for any reason, we got you covered. Dan, have your back. Now let's answer a few questions, right? I see some questions starting to pump in here. So Steven says, ordered and subscribe. Boom. Do you recommend adding this to the Living Lean program, coach, or wait to 3 weeks to shred? Absolutely. This can be added in every one of our programs. Steven's talking about our Living Lean program, also our 3 weeks to shredded program. This can be added in 100%. That's exactly why this was created. This was created so you can finally have a high quality grass-fed, cold processed whey protein isolate as a part of your truly healthy lifestyle. This was made to fit perfectly into every one of our meal plans. Otherwise, I wouldn't have created it, stand by it, work with Dan to bring this to you guys. This is made specifically for you guys. So absolutely. And even further than that, this can be added into any meal plan. If you're a bodybuilder getting ready for a competition, taking a whey isolate, you should be drinking the Dolce whey. if you are a carnivore following one of those carnivore keto programs, well, you should be taking the Dolce Whey. If you're getting ready for an endurance event, you should be consuming the Dolce Whey. If you care what goes into your body, if you care the way your body performs, and if you care about living your longest, healthiest life, you should be consuming the Dolce Whey. And truly, I don't know of any other better product on the market when you're looking for a high quality whey protein isolate. That is not a pitch. That is a fact. If anyone can find any that is similar, equal, or better, please let me know, and I will shout them out and give them a high five for doing so. I know of zero, which is why Dan and I brought this to you guys.
The other thing too is, if you consume bars, if you're an on the go person, if you're in your car a lot, if you literally don't have time to figure out a meal prep or get a healthy meal somewhere, this is unbelievable. This is my girlfriend's go-to. She's out the door, doesn't have time to make a breakfast, whatever it is good concentrated micro and macronutrients to take with you on the go. This should replace every protein bar. Again, it's not as convenient, you can't put it in your pocket, but it's pretty damn convenient to where, it's one of the most efficient ways to get in some nutrients on the go. So, whether you like almond milk, whether you're, just an old fashioned, mix your protein in water, whatever it is, this is a pretty convenient option, even just for that kind of snacking on the go opportunities, or needing something in place of, if you're going to be, like Mike said, in between a meal.
Great. Now, interesting question from MMA Allegedly. They're asking, is any wholesale availability? And I think, Dan, I'll push that to you. Maybe you work with wholesale or not. That's actually
yeah. We can look at it. To be honest, we weren't planning on it because, again, we're pretty tight on this product to get it to you guys direct to consumer. I don't know if it would make sense. We haven't really run those numbers, depending on the retailers and the margins they're looking for. Just, I'm being completely open with the community here. Like, I don't know a lot of stores that would take it on, to be honest, because it is such an expensive product, but open to talking about it. Feel free to email me, dan@metcon.com.
Yep. Awesome. Appreciate that. And thank you. And then another question here we have, Dizzle Baby says, in the future, will there be an option to get a larger size tub than 20 servings? Also curious why we decided on the 20 grams instead of the 24 to 30 that some other brands do. Great questions, actually, by the way, Dan.
So the 24 to 30 grams that you typically see on most labels are actually closer to 16 to 20 grams of protein. That is typically a 30-35% margin of error that a lot of companies will build into their supplement facts. Protein, you got to remember, is a commodity. And so when you're competing for protein per serving, you're going to do anything you can to stretch that number. And so there is safe margins, completely legal to build in margins of error in manufacturing. A lot of companies will do. So that, and also those 24 to 30 grams, typically, if you look at a label, you'll see, even if it says whey protein isolate, a lot of times they'll add in with whey protein concentrate, with casein, and they're filling it. They're actually loading it up with cheaper sources of protein to make it look like you're getting more whey isolate. Pure whey isolate, cold processed whey isolate is extremely expensive. Grass fed, even more. To deliver that amount of protein, and again, at the price point we were looking for, but more so what we wanted people to consume. We didn't want this to be reliant on, this isn't a meal replacement. You don't need to be packing it. But if you did want 30 grams, it's a scoop and a half. But realistically, this was to supplement your diet, to supplement a healthy diet. 20 grams of protein, right under 100 calories, was a perfect amount that Mike and I felt was the adequate supplement to your healthy diet. And that is the reason we did it. And again, when you compare to industry standards, we're actually above, even at 20 grams, ironically. And again, when you look at the scoop size, and I challenge everyone, if you've got protein in your house, look at what grams of protein are listed on the label, and then look at what the scoop size is, or the serving size. And the ratio will shock you. And most people that don't know that and haven't looked at it are completely blown away by. Then you start thinking, like, what 15 grams am I consuming? Like 15 grams is more than any pre-workout. It's more like that's a lot of volume, and especially from a percentage standpoint when you're looking at protein. So that was our reason. We talked about it. It wasn't we were set on 20. We kind of looked at the options and what we felt would be the best for the customer base, for you, the community, and what we would want to consume. And it's literally the perfect amount of protein to supplement a diet. Again, if you want less, if you just need 10 grams of protein to get out the door, it's a half scoop. If you want more, 30 grams, a scoop and a half, and you're good to go.
Yep. And we agree clearly. Dan and I agree. And we had this conversation. We had multiple conversations to come down to what is the best serving size. And we really went through. Now, fortunately, I have almost 25 years of data here working on nutrition prescriptions with a massive audience, working one-on-one with world-class athletes and regular folks out there. What is the most common need in the community? What do I personally take as a 215 pound, active individual? I don't take 30, 40 grams of protein in my shakes. I take 20. Like I take 20 twice a day, typically an extra 40 grams a day or so will do me fine. Maybe if I'm in a meathead A-type phase, I'll go 30. I don't go more than 30 or so. I break it down. Most people vastly overconsume, but to Dan's point, you're actually getting every single gram that we're stating with the Dolce Whey. Many of the others out there, they pad their margins. Legally, they can do so. So I guess that's okay. That's not what we're doing. We're providing you with the highest quality whey protein isolate to make sure you're getting everything you need, getting nothing that you don't. Then the 20 servings, the 20 grams of whey isolate. And then I think that answers your question. So this is like, we're not going to oversell to you also, which matters. We're not going to be the Bill Phillips EAS creatine model. We're not going to over recommend to you so you have to then over purchase and over consume for zero gains moving forward. We're not doing that. We're literally creating exactly what we believe the community needs at an amazing price point that is better than what's out there. And I see we have another MMA, allegedly, it seems you work in the supplement and general fitness industry, saying that our price is actually better than similar nutraceuticals out there on a per serving basis, let's say, are higher than what we're bringing out. And that's a part of the game, so we're really going above and beyond here.
Yep. And the tub size, we'll see. To be honest, Mike and I talked about this as, let's make sure like this, it is kind of a risk. Like we are going against the grain and so, kind of let's see. And if there is a demand for, a larger tub size, we can definitely look at that. Right now, we felt like this is, the days of a 5-pound tub on your fridge are kind of not there anymore. We wanted a convenient package, something that could fit in your cupboard. Fine. It's not going to knock everything else out. Something you could take on the go with you if you want. It can fit in a gym bag. That was kind of all these things were coming together of what made us decide on this 2020. And it just made sense. And we hope you guys love it. And we're open to feedback along the way.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's see anything else here. What's your take on gainers? I'm not sure what this is. Whoa, hey now. By the way, the FU. So when you see the FU, it's supposed to be letter F, letter U. Dan, so I'm not getting trolled here.
Yep.
That means that's for the algorithm in YouTube. The more comments, the better. So we say, hey guys, don't go crazy. Just say FU Dolce, which means effing unbelievable content. So it's supposed to be a compliment, but our audience.
Cheers to that,
Exactly. Cheers to that. Awesome.
Yeah, I will do one thing because I think, obviously, this is the first time people are trying the product. I'm going to be honest. I've had to give out so many samples. I'm low, but I did want to give you guys kind of a look inside just because this is unique and you don't get, probably won't be able to see. But if you get an idea, of this has been mostly consumed by myself and my girlfriend. And that was the chocolate, and then the vanilla. Again, this has really been consumed, but I'll pull out a scooper so you can see it. Super light and fluffy. I mean, this is a pure isolate. You can again see the black specks in there. That's the organic vanilla bean. And it just mixes. You don't need a shaker ball. You don't need, any crazy gizmo. We were asked too, like, well, did you guys come out with a shaker cup? And like, you don't need it. Like, I use a good old fashioned mason jar. You can literally take a spoon, mix it up. It's going to mix fine. It's pure protein. There's no binders. There's nothing else that's going to clump up in there. And so again, that's why it's just so great for something to grab and go too.
Another great point. So when you mix it, you don't have to do the shaker bowl. You don't have to put it in the blender. You don't have to break your arm. It's funny. Do that again a little higher. I can actually see the vanilla at the bottom. See that? That is actually, see that? That is real vanilla, ladies and gentlemen. That is not a synthetic toxic chemical that the majority of the industry uses to flavor. That's actually real vanilla, which again, man, I get so hyped up about that. Real ingredients in this product. And it is the vanilla has 4 ingredients.
Yep. Right. And the only difference with the cacao is 5 is we used a little bit of Himalayan salt. It actually kind of enhances the chocolate flavor of the cacao. And that's really it. It's literally the smallest amount just to bring out that flavor. And but that's the only difference between the cacao and the vanilla.
Yeah, it's negligible, but also we are advocates of salt. Salt is necessary for all muscular contraction. Nearly every cellular response needs sodium. Most people become sodium deficient. Hard training athletes definitely have severe sodium deficiency. So if you're training hard, you're taking away isolate, you probably want to bump it. Not that you're getting nearly your quota from our product, but having that inclusion there, we were very targeted, very specific, and everything that we added had to have a benefit, not just flavor, right?
Yeah, again, we could have easily saved a couple pennies and used sodium, just plain basic table salt. We chose to use Himalayan salt for it's just these little steps we took that are completely, again, from an industry standpoint, unnecessary. It was something, it was so important to us to take something that we would love and that we thought everyone else would love down to like the final detail. And literally it is the smallest amount of salt being added, and the fact that we used Himalayan salt, we dictated that it was Himalayan salt. I mean, just shows you what we put into this. So again, very negligible, very small detail, but a detail at that.
Absolutely. And you say just a few pennies, and that sometimes is the margin, right? Where some of the other manufacturers out there, they will trade your health for a few pennies.
Especially at volume, right? A few pennies when you're not doing that much, it doesn't mean that much. But when you're doing a large amount of volume, when you can start cutting costs, and you see it with a lot of companies. If you've taken products, not even supplements, if you've taken food products for a long time and you love this product before, and then 2-3 years down the road, all of a sudden you see some changes and some tastes are different. I mean, that's what it is. When you get to a volume standpoint, and you can save, and you have shareholders or you have investors, they take precedent over the consumer. It's just something we'll never do.
Yep. Agreed. We got a Big Papa here says, "Hey, good sirs, sorry if it's overtime. What's your take on Gainer? What would you find gents consume after a push-pull leg workout?" Gainer, I'm assuming, means weight gainer.
I would assume. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll leave this up to you, Mike, but typical weight gainers are a 2-to-1 ratio of carbs to 1 protein. Mike, I don't know if you have anything, but again, if you blend this up with some oats, you have a weight gainer.
A much better version of a weight gainer. And I'll take it in, say, even from a simplistic fashion, I'll drink the Dolce Whey, and as I said, I'll eat half a ripe banana. I'm getting my sugar in there, right? Because that's really what it is. It just comes down to the sugar, the carbohydrate, especially post-workout. You want something that is more readily digested. Everyone knows Stan Efferding, most likely. I had Stan on my podcast years ago. We were talking about post-workout nutrition. One of the things that I do with my more meathead-minded individuals will actually get dry jasmine white rice, blend it in a coffee grinder, and add that to our protein. Stan was blown away by that, which, I love Stan. I'm a huge fan of Stan, and wrote that into his vertical diet program. Gave me full credit, as is very rare, right? It's such a simple way to do it, Big Papa. Way better than you're going to get from a gainer. Much higher nutrient capacity, also much higher, much more bioavailable than the synthetic toxic chemicals in those gainers. I used to work for a major nutrition store back in my late teenage, and I was a GM for one for a little bit of time. And I went through a lot of the educational curriculum behind the scenes of the manufacturer. They actually made their own supplements too. I learned a lot. Dan, what you said earlier, it's glorified dog food. These are low quality ingredients. What I saw, the lowest quality ingredients that are legally allowed for human consumption is what they would pump into these things. They would spend most of their time and money simply focused on the flavor palette through synthetic toxic chemicals. That was it. And then how long shelf life? Can we keep it on for 18 months, 36 months? How long can we keep it on the shelf for? That's not what you want to be putting in your body.
Yeah. Again, we don't want to scare you guys, but yeah, I mean, there's some shady things that go on in the industry. But here's an example though. It's no different than the food industry. The food industry does a lot of these same tricks. Yep. When you look at cereals, like these are for kids, they fortify them with the same supplements that a lot of companies use to put in their vitamins. But they're covered up with all these other chemicals and flavors, and it's to make them palatable. For example, typical weight gainers is using the carbohydrate of choice in the industry is usually a cornstarch. And again, it's going to wreak havoc on your gut. There's a lot of things. Yes, it's going to fill you up. Yes, it's a lot of calories. But are there other things you can take that are, let's be honest, just as convenient? Yes, that you have in your home. And so, yeah, I think figuring out ways, even putting this whey in some oatmeal, like that's a weight gainer.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
Whey. Let's full stop there. Now we got to hear Dan and everybody here. It's cool. Everyone who hung out to get this deep into the episode, which is awesome. I wanted to have a little fun with you, Dan, right now. Dan knows nothing about this, but let's get to know Dan Cox a little bit better. So with that, I got a few questions that I think are fun. Question number one, if you had to choose between having no hands or no feet, what would you choose and why?
No feet.
Why?
So this kind of goes serious and a little dark. My brother's in the prosthetics industry, and so you didn't even know this. I've had conversations with him because I'm like, listen, I'm kind of a believer, but also like I just like having fun with things in karma, and I'm like, Will, my brother, like you do so much good for people, helping people out. I'm going to lose a limb at some point in my life because there's a yin and yang. Like for all the good you're doing, like something's going to be taken from me. And he jokes and he says, whatever you do, don't lose your hands. And being in the industry, you use your hand again. And this is it's a little close to home because I know people, but your hands are used for a lot of things. Your feet don't perform as much dynamic movement as your hands do. So that may be a little bit more complicated than you wanted.
That was the best answer I've ever gotten, by the way. That was the most logical, well thought out. Now, do you know Joe DeFranco?
I do.
Joe DeFranco, his answer was, well, he'd rather have no feet, not for your well thought out reason, because I'm from fucking New Jersey. Like, we got to have big upper bodies. Like, I don't have hands anymore. This is awesome. Like, no, fuck my feet.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, meet out.
And I ocean swim a lot. I think about this I honestly, this question, it's crazy because we've never talked about this. I think about this all the time because every time I'm ocean swimming, I'm like, if something happens, what do I put forward? My feet or my hands?
And I know because of your background, your lifestyle. It's super fucking fit. Dan is always on the move. Like you're not training, you're just living. That's just what Dan does. He's very active, very, very healthy, fit guy. Now, next question. I like this question is, of all the places you've been, what is your favorite place to wake up every morning?
If I got to choose?
If you got to choose for like your favorite place to open your eyes and just say, I'm here. Like this is where I want to be.
My family's from a small island off of Portugal. It's actually closer to Africa called Madeira Island. I've been there several times. If I could wake up and look out at that ocean off the island, that'd be a good place.
Okay. Madeira Island. Okay. That's kind of the answer that I would have. Something very similar to that is just the the beauty of nature, right? Surrounded by family, it seems, and cultural and some
I was
history.
going to say, if you told me waking up to your wife every day, then I was going to look like the a-hole, and I have to go back on my answer.
Well, you know, is she in the bed? You know, that's good. Well, next question would be, I know that you are in a committed relationship with your beautiful girlfriend. So this works better with married guys.
Okay.
I'm 21.
I mean, I'm pretty much there, so go ahead and give it to me.
You're there. All right. So if you were in this fully committed relationship with a beautiful young lady who you are so happy and lucky to be with, how would your life be different?
Oh, it wouldn't be as good for sure. I honestly, I've thought like I'd be pretty. I was able to fill my time when I was single, but I'd be pretty lonely.
That's a very PC way to say that.
I know. I mean, it's the truth though. Like, I doubt she's going to see this, and I doubt she's watching. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, in COVID, if anything, pushed, really showed that for sure.
Sure. Now, if you didn't, and this is going to be a harder one for you because you have so many different projects going on. Dan is a serial entrepreneur, by the way, so this is a harder one. But I usually ask, like I speak to Andy Galpin, PhD, kind of very singular in what he does. So if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing that you're not currently doing in the world? You're not working in the health and fitness industry anymore. You're not, I mean, there's so many damn things that I know you so well. Yeah. You're doing everything, by the way. What would you be doing that you're not currently doing?
Probably consulting more. Okay. Do more consult. I love working with other people and being a business owner. As you know, you're your own boss, and even though you have people around you, it's still a little lonely at the top. So when you consult, you get to ride on, with a bunch of different people at the same level. And so that'd probably be what I'd be doing.
It's interesting. And consulting would be do you like to consult inside the fitness industry? Or
I'll be honest, I like all CPG. I like there's something about consumable products that are, again, I feel drawn to because I feel like the whole consumer product industry has gone completely one way. And it's cool seeing more coming back to making, ingredients that aren't normally accessible, ways of consuming things without adulterating them. Like, I just love all that. I have a friend who's doing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, to-go peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it's just because it's been done so wrong and major company, so like things like that of taking things that could be done better and delivering to the consumer.
That's pretty cool. My daughters will be the first two consumers. They will be the IP ambassadors for sure.
I'll send you some.
Do you have a favorite book or a book that's just been pivotal to your life and or career? You can really go a little wide with that one.
What's funny, and I don't know if we talked about this when we did the podcast like 4 years ago, but I don't read as much as I would like. I love the idea of reading, and generally I'll start a book. I consume much more rapidly. So I like more quick, short notes. I like interviews. I like documentaries. That's typically how I learn. There is a book and a documentary that I am the biggest fan of, Teddy Roosevelt's book. And Teddy Roosevelt's documentary is just, if you know anything about his life and his story, it's pretty crazy. But that's probably one I would go to quite a bit. But yes, there is a lot of books that I would love to consume that I haven't.
Gotcha. Because you're always freaking working out or running these massive businesses.
I mean, but here's the thing. Like, so I look at reading as it's a one-dimensional thing. You have to be zoned in, and there's something to be said about that. But when I'm out running, when I'm out biking, there's so much where I can't be doing. There's so much time I spend not being able to be focused on one thing. So audio to me is like a godsend.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you on that. Now, slight turn here. What is your guilty pleasure food-wise? If you want to like do it big, do it dirty, your holiday, your birthday, whatever, what is that little dirty meal that you'll go to?
So from a true meal standpoint, this is fun. And I know people hate hearing this. Like, I really don't enjoy like bad food. Like, I just don't. Like, the dirtiest thing I'll eat is when, it's been a while and a pizza is in store. Like, I love a good pizza and I'll take that. And that is probably one that, and even that though, I don't really look forward to it. It's almost like, it just sounds good. It's going to be convenient. Let's get it. That would probably be my one main guilty pleasure. But even after that, like, I just don't feel that good. So it kind of has diminishing returns.
And from alcohol, I don't know if you even drink or not. Do you have a specialty drink? Do you have your James Bond martini? Is there anything that you're
Red wine is my go-to. So I used to be in the wine business. And so I love a good Cabernet, good Zinfandel, Petit Syrah. If we go to Mexico, Mezcal.
Bam. Simple. Easy. Now, kind of the last question is, do you, two questions. We'll get to the last one in a moment. Morning routine. I know Craig Valentine, you got Jocko Willnick, there's Gary Vee, like there's all these, successful guys out there. And what I found is, in my opinion, very successful people have a variety. And I actually got to live with a lot of successful people just doing what I do for years. It's a shit show. There is no specific routine that all 7 billion of us has to follow. So what is your general morning routine? Do you even have one? Give us kind of that little overview on, you're too busy to not have some sort of structure in your life, right? Eat frog, that whole thing. Give us a little bit of how do you approach your day?
So it always starts with some kind of form of exercise. So typically it's waking up, make some coffee, and then it's either running, swimming, or working out. It's one of the, there's very few days where I'm not doing one of those first thing when I wake up. It sets the tone for the day. It's almost like I'm not able to start until I accomplish that, whatever that thing is. And then that's it. And then take the dog for a walk, shower, and then get on with the day. But yeah, it's some form of exercise regardless of what's going on. And a lot of times, regardless how shitty I feel, it's something to get in motion, clear the head. And that's almost every single day out of the year.
And that's Richard Branson, by the way, is the more successful he got, the more he prioritized early morning to be successful. And this quote stuck out to me from well over a decade, probably 15 years ago, interviewed by a traditional business journalist. What's been the most important innovation to catapult your Virgin brand to the success it is now? Branson thought about it, and he said, well, the fact that I get up early and I perform an hour of vigorous exercise every single day. And the guy was like, no, I mean, was it email? Was it the automation of this or this type of engine? And Branson said, no. The fact that I get up early, I perform an hour of rigorous exercise allows me to be 4 hours more productive in my business day, making all the decisions that have been crucial to the advancement of my business, of my brands, giving me the vigor to work that long, but also the cognitive wherewithal to make the right decisions. So it was just you didn't hear CEOs talking like that a decade or more ago. Now you hear a little bit more. Man, it stuck with me to this day. And it's something that you said, which, I was like, bam, that makes great sense.
Yeah. It's like when you get to the point of, I mean, you're there, you love walking mostly, right? That's your, is that part, I forget, is part of your morning routine or afternoon?
Well, for me, at 3 years old, I fell into a pool at a family party. No one knew. And I was pulled out and saved. I still, to this day, I'm not very good in the water. I can swim to survive. I've trained myself to not be built properly for swimming, let's say. So swimming to me has never been enjoyable. I like to be cool. I live on the beach. Like, I love the water, but I don't like to be immersed without my ability to get the hell out pretty quick. And that's just, I just know it's me. Running, I used to love to run, but hip issues, low back issues, and just the inflammation chronically builds up over time and it becomes less enjoyable. That breaks my heart, to be real. Yeah. I lived in one of the greatest places to run, right on the freaking beach on the Jersey Shore, and I can't do it. So I went on a 20-mile bike ride this morning, which is not Dan Cox level, but it's more than, 20-mile ride into the wind is an ass kicker, right? So now, and I didn't gear up. I just kind of like tried to crank my way through. So not to hijack, your question here.
No, I'm just curious.
But I do love walking because everyone can do it. And usually walking longer distances is neglected. Like, I'll go and I'll crush a 20 minute, I'll do the hard sprints. But most people have a very small aerobic base. Right? They don't spend enough time doing that. And also thinking, longevity wise, my grandfather used to walk everywhere. He lived to be 99 years old. And you see that a lot too. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of at the halfway mark right now. Let's kick that up.
That's great.
All right. So now last question is, do you have a governing ethos on life? We can get into the more of the metaphysical, physical. Why are we here for? We can get all emo and sit around and smoke some weed. Why are we all here, man? But is there a guiding ethos that gets you out of bed, that you hang your hat on, something that at your core you really rally behind?
Just being grateful. That's there's just no bit, like, if anything's upsetting you throughout the day, there is plenty more people that would wish to be in your position and have your problems. I've been to, a lot of places around the planet, and some of my favorite are some of the poorest. And some of those people are some of the happiest people I've ever met in my life. And it's crazy when, I've been in the slums of India. I've been in the projects of Brazil. I've been in some very poor places in South and Central America, in Asia. And it's like, man, if you don't have perspective, you can let little problems really take over and they start to seem like big problems. But if you're grateful for what you got and kind of have that perspective, things change real quick.
Oh, that's awesome. That's beautiful. And that makes a lot of sense. I've never known you to not be happy and be smiling and be in a good mood and be positive, be uplifting, be supportive. I've never, ever known you to not be exactly what you are right now, which is, one of my, attractions to you and my affinity for you, respect to you, is that, man, this is just, you deal with life. You deal with the challenge. I mean, life is a hard slog sometimes. We all have the ups and downs. And I know a few of yours, we've talked and whatnot, but I've never seen you wear it on your sleeve.
Yeah. It's, man, you got one and you get to choose everything about it. So if you start getting upset about something, make the decision not to be, and change your environment, change the people around you, change whatever you need to change. And a lot of times it's literally just a change in the head. Like a lot of people would create their own unhappiness. And it can just as easily it's created. You can remove it and get on.
That's it.
Get on with enjoying.
Awesome. I love it, man. I want to get you back on to a longer podcast because, man, I just want to get deeper into a lot of you and your ethos and a lot of your experiences too. God damn, you got a couple books in you, but I'm very conscious of your time. I really appreciate you coming on, you being here, you helping me kind of launch this to our audience and share this. So everyone definitely right now jump over to metcon.com/Dolce. Pick up your first tub of the Dolce Whey. You can subscribe to monthly delivery and get a 25% discount. Dan, can you fill them in?
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people a lot of companies will have these subscriptions. I refused to do it for a long time until we had literally hundreds of our customers coming to us saying, like, the worst part of my day is when I wake up in the morning and I want my pre-workout and I'm out and like I need it. And so we put in the subscription program as a convenience for you. There is no other intent. It's not to lock you in. If you signed up for a subscription and then wanted the discount and email us tomorrow that you want to cancel it, it is what it is. Like, it is simply a convenience for you not to have to worry about running out of product. What I would say, if you do the subscription option, create a login into our website. You can see up at the top right corner, there's a login. Create an account and then go purchase your subscription. That'll help ease the kind of seamlessness of the subscription and you being able to go in. That way, then you can log in and there's a button that says manage your subscription. You can change how often it ships, how many products you get. So literally you can order one, ship every month. 2 a month. You can order 1, ship every 3 months. Whatever you want to do, it's completely convenience driven, so you don't run out of the products you love. And that's really it. And we provide a discount for that.
And that is awesome. Everyone you can go on, you can buy one, you can stack up and buy a couple, one-time purchase for sure, the subscription, like Dan says. And everyone here, we stand behind it. We stand behind you. Try it, see if you like it. I am so confident you will absolutely love it. If you don't, man, send it back. Dan and I will certainly scoop it out. And
guys, it's hard for me to say this with a straight face. Like, it is unbelievable. Like, awesome. It is unbelievable. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, you're gonna try it, and the flavor, if you've taken any proteins in your life, if you've loved any kind of milkshake, any kind of chocolate or vanilla flavor, anything, you're gonna just be blown away. It's so hard to describe how pure the flavor is on these. I'm excited for everyone to try them.
Absolutely. Yeah, me too. We're in. I see that there's more questions and coming up, guys and gals. We appreciate you all being here, for being a part of it. We're going to let Dan jump off here. It's getting late here also. I got 2 little girls waiting for me at home tonight, but we wanted to launch this tonight for you guys here live, and anyone watching on the replay afterwards. This will live on our YouTube channel. Go to metcon.com/Dolce, pick up the Dolce Whey Pro. Definitely let us know. Make sure you follow Dan on Instagram at Daniel G. Cox, also at Metcon, Dan's company, the one we are so proud to be working with, and we appreciate. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for being here, and until next time, boom!